I started by preparing the marinade because there's nothing as bad as bland fish fingers. So to my freshly squeezed lemon juice, I added the garlic, followed by the green chilies and the soy sauce and the freshly cracked black pepper. Mixed everything together so that all the ingredients were well incorporated, and then added just a pinch of salt because the soy sauce has a lot of salt, so I was very careful when adding the salt. And these are my tilapia fillets that I've already chopped into fingers. There are some parts that are fatter than others. This is just because of the way the fish is shaped or created. And so I poured the marinade over my fish fillets, started mixing and trying to cover every piece of fish with this marinade, but I quickly discovered that this wasn't working. So I poured all the contents into a kitchen paper bag, mixed everything together so that all the fish fillet pieces were covered. And then I set this aside for around 15 minutes for the marinade to penetrate into the fish. And these are my ingredients that I used to coat the fish fingers. This is mala or fermented milk, all-purpose flour or plain flour, and these are my breadcrumbs that I made fresh in the food processor. Place them on the pan to dry them so that they could crisp up and add to the crispiness of the fish fingers. To the fermented milk, I added the Royco and freshly cracked black pepper. Royco has salt in it, so I did not add any more salt to my fermented milk. I mixed everything together, set it aside, and then I worked on my breadcrumbs. So to the breadcrumbs, I added coriander leaves, red bell pepper, very finely minced. Now I added the red bell pepper because of that wonderful pop of red color that is going to appear as tiny specks on my fish fingers. And again, red bell pepper is very sweet, so it adds a certain sweetness to the fish fingers. And I also added spring onions that I had minced very, very finely. This was followed by freshly cracked black pepper and just a tiny pinch of salt, and lastly some red chili powder, about a teaspoon of it. Mixed everything together, and by this time my breadcrumbs had a very nice aroma coming off them because of the mixture of the herbs and the spices. And to my all-purpose flour, I added freshly cracked black pepper and just a pinch of salt, mixed everything together, and I was done. And so the next step was to coat my fish fillets with the breadcrumb mixture. So I first started by dredging them with flour, made sure that they were coated evenly with a thin layer of the flour, shook off any excess before transferring them to my mala or fermented milk. I made sure that they were coated on each and every part by the mala. But if you do not have mala or fermented milk where you live, you can use unflavored yogurt. You can also use an egg wash, or you can use buttermilk. So once the fish fingers are covered evenly by the mala, transfer them to the breadcrumb mixture and make sure that they are coated on all sides by the breadcrumbs. Try as much as possible to get the coriander and the red bell pepper on the fish fingers. And then once you're done, try and form them into fingers like you're seeing me do here. This will make sure that the corners are not as sharp, which will lead to them burning very fast when you start cooking them. So when you roll them like this, it means that they become round and look like actual fingers. And so next is to cook them. So I placed my fish fingers on the cooking pan that was heated to medium heat. I cooked each side for about 3 minutes. So once they had acquired a very nice color on the bottom side, I flipped them over. I was careful not to burn them. Once the second side was on the pan, I finished off the fish fingers with some bit of butter. Now butter adds a certain oomph and flair to your fish fingers, and once it combines with the coriander and the breadcrumbs, this is a combination made in heaven. Try it and tell me how it works for you. Now if you want, you can also deep fry your fish fingers, or you can also bake them in the oven. And so these are my fish fingers. I serve them with lemon wedges. And this is a close-up. See how the red color of the bell pepper pops at you? It's really beautiful. And so let me show you how the inside of the fish fingers looks. They are still moist. They did not dry up. I don't know if I'll be able to catch a good shot to show you how moist they were on the inside, because they did not dry up. Finally, this is a shot that will show you how moist the fish fingers were on the inside. See right there? They're really moist. And so my fish fingers were accompanied by oven roasted potatoes that were finished off with some butter and stir-fried vegetables. Thank you so much for watching this fish fingers video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, rate it and share it with your friends. Until when we meet next time on another fantastic recipe, keep it Jikoni magic. Goodbye.